Tonight, so we've got a special guest with us tonight. I brought in, I'll just move this camera. So we've brought in the president of Peninsula Power, Craig. So Craig Furigal, founding member as well of Peninsula Power. I've got a few questions for Craig, and he's going to try and answer a few questions for you guys on background of the club, what he's done in the club, what his family's done in the club, and some of his highlights and lowlights of football in and around Peninsula Power. All right, so first question we had, what age, so Craig, what age did you start playing football? Where did you start playing football?
I started playing for Redcliffe City back when I was 6 years of age.
So local?
So local, yeah. That was back when Redcliffe City was located up on Woody Point.
Yep.
And that was next to the Bramble Bay Bowls Club. That used to be the club down there. And I started playing under sevens there, and my coach was Donnie Bailey. People might know Neil Bailey. He's been involved with the club recently, but that's Donnie's son. And I played with Neil basically all through my younger years.
You played all your football on the Peninsula?
All my football on the Peninsula, yeah. There was 1 year I did when we did a trip around Australia, and I went down and played in Victoria for a season down there in the Gippsland Soccer League. Okay. But yeah, other than that, all my football was here on the Peninsula.
Very good. Both your kids play. So for those who don't know, Melissa and Sean both played for the club at some stages. Sean in our senior men's team, and Melissa in our women's Women's Premier League team. So and Brisbane Premier League team. So they both club juniors, both come through the club. Give us a quick history on Sean.
Well, Sean started playing when he was 5 years of age on the Peninsula here. He's been playing on the Peninsula since then. He obviously went through the younger age groups. He ended up playing for Brisbane North, and then he went on to senior football. He was playing senior football at 17 years of age. And then he moved into, obviously as a club progressed through into the Premier League times, he continued in the first team, and basically it was part of our promotion going up through from Division 2, Division 1 into the Brisbane Premier League, and then into the Football Queensland Premier League. It was all part of that setup. So
also on trial at the Roar at one stage?
Yeah, he trialled at the Roar. He also had a trial with Perth Glory when Perth Glory came over here and set up a camp on the Gold Coast. He went down there and spent 3 days down there trialling with them down there. Great experience. Just even being invited for a trial with a A-League club, I think is a great experience. And all. And if you ever got the opportunity for any of the kids at Peninsula Power, we'd recommend it and also encourage it, to go to that next level. So yeah.
Excellent. And Melissa?
Melissa, again, followed in her brother's footsteps. She wanted to play football from a young age, and she started playing at 5 years of age. Coached by her mother for a few years, and then again really played in a mixed team with boys and girls, and was a really good player. Really took to the skills. Both feet, could kick both feet, and which was a big asset for a young player. If you can kick with both feet, I know that as you progress through into reps and things like that, it makes a big difference. And she could kick with both feet, and as a striker, used to score quite a few goals from the edge of the 18-yard box, outside the 18-yard box, around that D area, and used to just have that finesse where defenders didn't know which side she was going to turn because she could hit it both feet. So, I mean, that's a great asset for a young player. Went on to play in our Premier League side, but then got scouted for a US scholarship over in the States, and actually got a 4-year scholarship, a full scholarship, which means that the school paid for everything except their flights. But yeah, everything over in America, in the state of Georgia. So most of her games were in Florida.
I believe she's still the leading goal scorer.
And she's still the leading goal scorer for that college, and no one's even come close to scoring the amount of goals. And even that, normally when freshmen arrive there on their first year in a college, that normally they don't play in the team because they're freshmen. You know, there's seniors there, there's sophomores and things like that. But Melissa basically went straight into the side and just continued on to improve. And under the coaching and the strengthening conditioning sessions, the sports science part of it, so it was all part of that scholarship, and it makes them a better player. But you also still got to learn your skills and still got to meet your targets there. So it's a good balance, and Melissa was at a turning point. She was offered a QAS scholarship as well, which would have then saw her progress into the young Matildas and things like that. But weighing it all up, we let her make the decision on what she wanted to do, and she decided to go for the college 4-year.
Came back to Australia?
Came back to Australia and went to trial for the Raw, but obviously the Raw were quite strong then. They had a lot of internationals in the W League side, but was offered a contract at Newcastle Jets. So went down to the Newcastle Jets and played a year down in the W League. And then was offered to go back again for another year, but chose to come back home and basically come back and play for the club again, which he did, and got Player of the Year for the Brisbane Women's Premier League and Golden Boot, and but now started a family and moved on to the next chapter.
Very good. Getting to Power. So Power was formed in 2000, 20 years. We celebrated our 20-year anniversary last year. How was Power formed? So I'm sure some of the players, young players especially, would like to know, and some of even the parents would like to know, how was Power actually formed?
Yeah, as I said, I played for Redcliffe City for a lot of my junior years, and they were the club in Redcliffe, and they've been here since 1958. But Margate started in the 70s, and or maybe the late 70s, early 80s, and then they actually had a women's side there, and Melissa and Sean both played there as youngsters. I came back and played senior football for Redcliffe City, and in 92 and 93, and but then obviously my family was playing for Margate, and I wanted to play where my family was playing, so I started a men's team up down there, and pretty much through the 90s, Margate was very successful with the sort of players we had, and then we got to the same league as Redcliffe City in the late 90s, and for us to go, we had a vision, well I had a vision anyway, that as our kids were coming through the ranks, that we wanted to have a club that was playing at the highest level. I mean, that was always our vision. We always had a 10, 20-year vision of getting to the highest league. Back then it was the 4X Premier League, that was what it was called back then. Obviously things have changed now, but our vision was always to be up there, have somewhere for our kids to aspire to play at that level. And so pretty much started a conversation with Redcliffe City back then. I was the president of Margate, and we pretty much formed an opinion that yes, we need a strong club in the Peninsula, where we've got a good, rich sporting history here, that we need to get the highest level for our kids and our development of our players coming through. We need to get this club where it should be, and so we set a vision. We started to get the wheels rolling into building an amalgamated club, and amalgamated club where we didn't have Margate or we didn't have Redcliffe in the name, became Peninsula. Obviously, and then just a bit of a story around the name, Peninsula Power. Well, we had 3 choices back then that it came down to, and one was Peninsula Power, one was Peninsula United, and one was Peninsula Panthers. So they were the three. They were the 3 names that the committee back then were bandering around the table. But my preference was always Peninsula Power. And for those that would remember back in the NSL days, there was a Parramatta Power. So I thought it was always good for us to have a name that aligned with a National League side. but United was also close to my heart as well, being a Manchester United fan. But yes, but the bigger picture was Peninsula Power was going to be the name. So yeah.
Very good. Club's biggest challenge. We've had some big challenges, building stuff and getting grants and stuff like that. But within the club structure, what's probably the biggest challenge we've faced as a club?
Well, I'd say the current situation at the moment, this COVID-19, has certainly been a challenge for the club, been a challenge for all you players and parents as well out there. But you know, we're working through it. We think we can see light at the end of the tunnel coming up. So everyone, you know, just stick with us. We're still working behind the scenes, and just while I'm talking about that, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Paul and the offsider Nicole for the tremendous amount of work that's been done engaging with our players and our members through these sort of forums. So I think that's important, that we still engage and we still stay in touch, because we can see light at the end of the tunnel, and we want everyone back on the field playing as soon as possible.
Club's most memorable moments. Now, as a club, we've had a lot of memorable moments. We've won 3 premierships in a row. We've had countless other premierships. We've won lots and lots of trophies. You've only got to go up into the cabinet upstairs at AJ Kelly and have a look how many trophies are actually up there. WBPL. We've won the Elaine Watson Cup 3 years in a row. So we've had a lot of success in women's and senior men's football. But from a personal point of view, what's your highlight of Peninsula Power?
Oh, that's a difficult one, because there's as you said, there's a number of them, and all those ones you just said are all up there on the list. But the highlight, to go through a season undefeated at this level, and to win the premiership, win the grand final, that 2018 year in the Football Queensland Premier League, I think is probably one of the most special moments. Our coach Aaron got Coach of the Year. It was just a fantastic year to be involved with the club, and obviously one of the things as well is I just value the highlight is seeing my children come through the club, playing for the club they love, playing for the community they love, and fulfilling their dreams, and obviously representing the club at the highest level, and successful.
Okay, so we've had some great teams, and we've had some great players that have come through the club in the years. You know, when we picked our team of the century, or team of the 20 years, there was like 5 A-League guys in that team that were either played in the A-League or some really high quality, played internationally. A couple of players played internationally overseas. So we've had some really high quality players coming through. In your opinion, what makes a great player, firstly, and then secondly, a great team?
Well, from a playing point of view, hard work. It's the dedication, the hard work that you as a player can dedicate to improving yourself, and being a good communicator, being part of a team. Because there is no I in team. So if you're working hard, developing the best you can be, I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to make you a better player. And from the team point of view, you've got to work within a team. So you as much as sometimes you don't like another player in your team, or you don't agree with them, but you put team as your first priority. You listen to what your coach wants from you as a player, and you follow directions. Not saying you can't have an opinion and speak to a coach about it, but you get down, you do the hard work, you do what you train for each week, and you just put it into practice when you go out as a team on the weekend.
Excellent. All right. So you notice I'm in and out of shot. My wife's telling me you're out of shot a lot, and it's social distancing. We've got to sort of stay this far apart, so I've got to be in and out of the shot. I can't sit next to him. So, all right. So thank you. Thanks, Craig, for coming on tonight. Over the next few weeks, we're going to have some special guests. I've got a young player that you play for the club and you might know Ramon. A few of the boys were coached by him a couple of years ago. So Ramon Close, he's a ex-international, went through the QAS system, the AIS system. So we're going to get him on to have a chat about youth development. So what you players can do, all you guys can do in that space, and he'll give you some of his antidotes and his opinions, and maybe something that you can use in your development as well. So over the next